story time again. This book is about giants. Look, there we go, big giants. So let's start on the first story called All Kinds of Giants. And there we go. There are lots of stories about giants and lots of different giants. Some were quite small, but most were enormous. And there were naughty ones, wild ones, who liked nothing better than to fight. Oh my goodness, look at them fighting. Sad ones, oh poor little thing, or poor big thing rather, who never stopped crying, and kind ones who helped grannies. There, look, that could be a giant next to me, couldn't it? Only I don't have a walking stick, fortunately, and I don't wear hats like that or coats like that, but I am a granny. The first story is about a good giant called a troll. The second tells of 3 wicked giants and how they met a grisly end. Okay, so the first story, as I said, is about a good giant called a troll. So this story is called John and the Green Troll. There we go. Once there was a poor farmer, and his poor wife had died. He lived with his only son John by the mountains in Scotland. And there we go, there are the mountains in Scotland, and there he is, pushing the plough, and the horses are pulling, or the oxen are pulling. They look like horses. In the spring and summer, John and his father worked hard in the fields. Oh gosh, and John's saying, how will we ever move this tree? Look, he's really struggling, isn't he? And in the autumn, they closed the farm and went down to the sea to fish. But one year, John's father felt too old for the trip. You'll have to go alone, he said to John. But just take good care. And he waves his son goodbye. And his son John says, don't worry, I will take care. And off he goes. Now just remember one thing, he warned. Do not stop at the big black rock. That's where the trolls live. Ooh. And as John drove up a rocky mountain path, the sky grew dark and a storm blew up. Lightning flashed and thunder growled, and John wanted his dad, but he wasn't there, was he? Look at him. You can see the lightning flashing in the sky. Can you imagine what the thunder sounds like? Boom! And at last he saw a big black rock. Oh, I can shelter there, he thought. But what did his dad say? And John had forgotten all about his daddy's warning. He was just glad to be out of the storm. And he sat down inside a cave. Phew, that journey has made me hungry, he said. And there he is, sitting in the cave. Time for supper, he said. And he unpacked his sack. And in his sack he had some bread, some cheese, an apple, and a very big fish. Crusty bread and smelly cheese, delicious. There he is, starting to eat his food. There we go. Suddenly, John heard a noise coming from inside of the cave. He was so scared he stopped chewing. "Oh, what's that noise?" he said. "What's that noise?" He could hear voices, baby voices. "Wah!" they cried. "We're hungry! Wah, wah, wah! We're hungry!" And John quickly picked up his fish. There we are. And cut it in half, and he threw both halves into the cave. "Here, eat these," he shouted. "Eat these." The crying stopped at once. "Whew," said John. "Thank goodness for that." He was almost asleep when a giant shadow fell over him, and John looked up. A troll! A troll was coming for him. And the troll was shouting, "I smell a man. Ho, ho, ho." Now he remembered his daddy's warning, but it was too late. He was in the cave, and there was the shadow of the troll. The troll came over to John and picked him up. He shook with terror. This was his first fishing trip alone, and he was the one to be caught. "Please don't eat me," he said. "Please don't eat me." But the troll was gentle. "Don't be scared," she said. "I want to thank you for feeding my children." The troll took John into her cave and looked after him. She even gave him her children's bed. It was lumpy, but John slept very well. "Who's sleeping in my bed?" said the two little babies. And the next morning, after breakfast, the troll waved John off. There, look. You see? "Take these magic fishing hooks," she said. "When you reach the sea, look for an old man called Charlie, and you must go fishing with him." "Oh, thank you," said John. "I will." And John did just as the troll had said. He found Charlie in an old hut by the beach. "Will you come fishing with me?" asked John. "Why me?" said Charlie. "Are you sure?" said Charlie. "I'm the worst fisherman in the world. I never catch anything." Charlie showed John his boat, and it was full of holes and falling to pieces. "Don't worry," said John. "I can soon fix that." Look at his boat falling to pieces with all the holes in it. Can you see? No, look. And John set to work with some tar and planks of wood, and soon the boat was as good as new. Look, can you see him mending it? What's on the next page? "Let's row to that pointed rock," John said to Charlie. They put worms on the magic hooks and started to fish. "Hey!" John cried a few seconds later. "I've caught one." "So have I," shouted Charlie. "And another, and another, and another, and look at all the fish in the boat." Lots and lots and lots of fish. They couldn't believe their luck. The boat was just full of fish, and the other fishermen couldn't believe it either. "How did you do it?" they said. "What's your secret?" There they go. They're in their boats and they haven't got anything, have they? John told them to fish near the pointed rock. But when they tried, they didn't catch a thing. "Look, they've done it again." "Oh, Charlie's lucky at last." Every day for the entire winter, John's magic hooks caught hundreds of fish. And every day John and Charlie cleaned the fish and hung them up to dry. They had more fish than all the other fishermen put together. Said someone, there's something fishy about this. I wonder what it is, they said to themselves. Can you see? They are very suspicious about something. They think that something fishy is happening. When spring came, it was time for John to go home. And on the way, he visited the troll and gave her half his fish. I could never have caught them without you, he said to her. Oh, she was very grateful. Thank you, she said. One day you'll have a dream about me, and when you do, you must come back to my cave. Oh, and back at home, John helped his father on the farm, and a year later, he had a dream about the troll, just as she had said. I have to go visit someone, John said to his daddy. He quickly left for her cave without telling his dad where he was going. And at last he reached the cave and he peered inside. Hello, he called. Hello. Is anybody home? But there was no answer. There, can you see him? He's standing at the entrance of the cave. And John crept into the cave and it was empty except for 2 chests. Are they for me? John wondered. What could be inside? He put the chests on his cart. There we go. There are the chests. And took them home. And when he opened them, he found piles of treasure and gold. Look at that. Piles of treasure and gold. John and his daddy were so rich they never had to work again. Yippee! Hip hip hooray! They shouted. And that is the end of the story. Well, that ended very happily, didn't it? They became rich. The trolls helped them. So those trolls, those big giant trolls, were very nice, weren't they? Very friendly. But of course, John helped them as well. So that's a lovely story, wasn't it? So I'll be back another time with another story. Lots of love. Kiss, kiss.